Welcome to Niner Report Podcast with your host, Patrick O'Brien. Welcome to the Niner Report Podcast. I'm Patrick O'Brien, your host and publisher of NinerReport.com with Rivals. This is going to be a new little item that we're going to be featuring with some of our writers and interns that we have here. We'll be introducing them a little later on this week. But we wanted to bring a little special, a new kind of idea to the website here. This week we're going to be looking a little bit back at the Elon game. The 49ers were able to dominate in that win, securing their first win of the season, while also taking a look at the next opponent, Eastern Michigan, that they'll be playing on Saturday in Charlotte there. So let's take a little bit of look at a glance of last week and some of the takeaways that we had here. You might have saw on the website some of our own takeaways, little 3 key points that we wanted to highlight, and I'm sure you're going to hear some of them today here. Some of the takeaways I was able to look at when watching that game, that I came away impressed and also a little bit of a concern. One is the third down conversions. Against Louisville, they went 0 for 13. They weren't able to move the ball at all. And then, I was anxious to see what they were able to do against Elon. A little bit softer defense there. They went 3 for 13, so they're now 3 for 26 on third down conversion, something they had problems last year with. They need to, greatly increase that number of conversion rate on third down to move the ball, and they had the talent to do it, especially with the balanced attack of running back and wide receivers and Kevin Olsen in the backfield throwing the ball. Another thing some of the positive thing I kind of took away was the turnover margin. Again, Charlotte came on the right end of that, and now they have a positive turnover margin ratio, unlike they did last year. Where they suffered a ton of turnovers, especially in interceptions there. It's great to see that this defense is swarming, getting faster, more physical, everything like that, creating turnovers for their offense and not putting them in a deep hole every time there. So it's great to see that the 49ers are now on the positive margin to see if they can take that into Eastern Michigan this week there and keep that trend going. Another thing that you have to be excited for. Watching a lot of the games last year, that depending on dependent on the running back there position, and pretty much trying to keep from the quarterback from turning over the ball, which often didn't really happen there. It's great to see now that they have a balanced attack. The 49ers last week against Elon, they ran for 232 yards on 35 carries, and then also had 274 passing yards and 4 touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. So you have to be excited about seeing that balanced attack. Against Louisville is a little bit tougher. You did see some positives in that one, but the balanced attack didn't really show. But with the Conference USA coming up and opponents with like Elon and Eastern Michigan, it gives them a great chance to now showcase what they can do, especially with the talent they have around them. So those are some of the positives that I kind of took, and negatives, I should say, I took away from the Elon game after they were able to win the 47-14 last week. Now they take on Eastern Michigan, a team that went 1-11 last year. They do return 8 starters on offense and 8 starters on defense, so it is an experienced team. But sometimes the experience doesn't always pay off there, because last year, they averaged about 25 points a game, averaged about 380 total yards a game. But on the defensive end, they gave up 42 points and almost 520 yards defensively, especially in the run defense there. They gave up over almost 300 yards a game, something that the 49ers are looking at heading into this one. When you look at this, some of the news surrounding them, again, around Eastern Michigan, they won their first game 61-14 around Mississippi Valley State, lost their second one against Missouri last week, 61-21. So they're 1-1 on the season. Their quarterback, who was actually suspended for 2 games heading into the season, Brogan Roback, he was actually the starter last year, and he threw for about 2,300 yards and 16 touchdowns on the year. But now Todd, I forget his last name, but the Todd quarterback is coming in. He's played well. He's an athletic quarterback that can run. I think he had about 46 yards or so on the ground last week against Missouri. So he can move and also sling the ball around. I don't think Brogan's going to get a lot of time, but there could be. He has the experience and everything from last season, so we'll see. Maybe he might come into play against the 49ers. Another thing to look at or surrounding Eastern Michigan is their offensive line. This team, they are massive on the offensive line. They have 3 guys over 300 pounds. Something that the 49ers had to take notice of in trying to stop the run game. They've been averaging about 211 yards on the ground this season, but they've only been giving up about 96.5 yards. So something completely different from the statistics last year. So we'll have to see, which one. Is it going to be the 317 yards that they gave last year or the 96? So see how much difference there is going to be heading into this game, because the 49ers are definitely going to want to run the ball with their running backs in the backfield there. But their offensive line heading into that, they have 3 players over 300 pounds. And they're going to be looking on Shaq Van. He's one of their running backs. He's averaged about 83 yards a game, and Ian Erickson has been putting up about 93 yards. So they look to use a balanced attack between the 2 running backs. So also Todd Porter. He has the quarterback. That's his name there. He has 59 rushing yards and 1 touchdown on the game, so he can certainly move the ball as well. In the passing game, it's going to be all about Porter there. He's been completing about 56% or 57% of his passes this year. Has 4 touchdowns on the season. He's been averaging about 230 yards a game. So they use a bunch of receivers. Let's see. I counted earlier. They had only 1 player with double-digit receptions so far, Sergio Bailey. But they have probably about 9-10 different receivers that they can use and move the ball with that Porter's been looking for. And they like to share the ball throughout there. Another key that I'm kind of looking at with Eastern Michigan is actually the defensive coordinator for them, Neil Nethery. He actually coached at UTSA. They played against Charlotte last year. Definitely coming in, they could. The defensive coordinator should be, even though these teams have never met, Nethery should definitely be familiar with what Coach Brad Lambert and the staff want to do on the ground there and through the air. But certainly there's a different amount of talent the 49ers come in heading into this game. Another key factor I'm looking at is going to be the turnover. Both teams come in in the positives. Eastern Michigan has recovered about 4 fumbles so far this season. So I think whichever team can actually win that battle really has a huge leg up in coming into the game. So they're both the defenses are going to be wanting to swarm, try to get the recoveries or interceptions, try to create better situations for their offense there. Offense, like I mentioned, offensively, Eastern Michigan is solid. They come in a balanced attack. They're looking to run the ball and throw the ball just like the 49ers. They're athletic. They can certainly move the ball. They actually had 420 yards against Missouri, an SEC school, last week. So that just kind of shows you what the talent that they have. Even though they were 1-11 last year, they still had the talent that they can move the ball and the experience there. So kind of some other notes I just wanted to add on. Let's see. Terrence Winchester is cleared, but we don't know if he will be playing there. Khalif Phillips is right now is for his day to day, but I probably expect the freshman running backs, Robert Washington and Benny LeMay. Those two, as you might have heard through the interview that Coach Lambert had on Tuesday earlier this week. He's been impressed with the freshman running backs. They've been able to produce. They certainly, the spotlight's not too big for them. They can move the ball. Robert is a physical running back that's, has had the talent. As you know, he was getting recruited by several high-end schools, and he chose the 49ers there. He will be getting a lot of touches along with LeMay. LeMay led the game last week against Elon with 79 yards. So look for those two to get a big dose of some in the run game there, and it will definitely show what the future has for the 49ers in that one. So those are some of the things I'm looking at. Trent Bostic as well. He's still down with a concussion there. So some of the key players coming in, but what I'm looking for is definitely a heavy dose of the run game, along with Kevin Olson getting the ball out quick, looking for his deep threats and over the middle. I think offensively, Charlotte should be fine. It'll be interesting I think the key factor coming into this game will definitely be the run game for the Charlotte 49ers against the defensive line and one defense of Eastern Michigan. We'll see which one actually pays off, or if Eastern Michigan is the Eagles are the real deal and made a huge jump with their run defense, with only allowing about 96 yards a game. So I think they'll test it. I think they'll test it early. I think with the crowd, let's see. I think with the crowd, the run game with Olsen throwing the ball, not turning the ball over like the 49ers did last year. I think the 49ers will come out with a win in this one. I'm picking them 31-27 with the win on Saturday. So hopefully the 49ers can come back, get to 2-1. We'll have our one of our writers, our interns, Matthew St. Pierre, on hand covering the game. So definitely check out on the website, go on the message board. He'll be providing updates also there on Twitter, and he'll be doing his own little recap and takeaways from the game. So continue to look on the Niner Report as we provide recruiting updates, football updates, basketball updates, anything that we have there. And we want to thank all our subscribers and readers and listeners now as they listen to the first Niner Report podcast, and we'll be having some more coming down in the coming weeks there. So thank you, and have a great night.